This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I am so full of caffeine. I am so amped up in honor of Coca-Cola week here on The Complete Guide to Everything.
I mean, it's not necessarily Coca-Cola week. It's just, an episode.
Well, for you, every week is Coca-Cola week.
No, I wish, Tim. I've dramatically cut down you know what? Here's a tease for before the end of the episode. I have a can of Coca-Cola in my fridge that I will crack open and drink.
Wow. If that won't convince people to listen to us talk to each other for an hour, at the end of it, you'll hear a can open.
Psst,
at
glug,
the
glug,
end.
glug, glug, glug.
And you'll get to hear Tom go. You ever drink like a whole glass of water in like one swig just to impress somebody?
Not to impress somebody, but I like doing it.
Yeah, well, when you're really thirsty, there's really nothing better.
Do you ever intentionally make yourself real thirsty so you can have like a real nice drink?
No, that's a pervert's way to hydrate.
No, to be clear, I don't get any kind
That's a pervert's hydration right there.
I don't get any kind of sexual satisfaction from it. If anything, it transcends that kind of. It's like an even better satisfying feeling.
Do you ever screw up? Do you ever try to like take it real far and then you just pass out from dehydration before you can reach the refrigerator?
Sometimes I take it too far though, and I get too excited to drink the water, and then it goes down the wrong pipe. That one?
Yeah.
And then, a coughing fit follows.
Can I ask you something, Tom? When something goes down the wrong pipe, that goes right into your lungs?
I think so. I think that's the other. I mean, what other pipe is there,
so
right?
So do you have like
two pipes?
Apple juice from when you were a kid, like that went into your lungs? I guess your body absorbs things even if it's not. All right.
It's probably good for your lungs, a little apple juice now and then.
Yeah, there's electrolytes in apple juice, right?
Sure.
Electrolytes is just sugar.
I feel like
salt.
Salt, I think. Mm. You see this about Jack Dorsey drinks salt juice now?
Yeah, it's salt
water. Water. Right from the ocean.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey, a great man. Soda, Tom.
Soda.
Coca-Cola. You don't drink a lot of Coca-Cola these days?
No. I mean, I never drank a lot of regular Coke, but I would drink a lot of Diet Coke and especially Coca-Cola Zero. I'd only drink Diet Coke if they didn't have Coca-Cola Zero.
You call it Coca-Cola Zero?
Coke Zero. Right. Coke Zero Sugar is technically what it's called.
Nowadays.
For
a while it was Coke Zero.
Yeah. I mean, and I go back, so I still... You'll have to excuse my vernacular. I'm still calling it
You're
Coke Zero.
You're old school, Tom.
Yeah. But I used to always have a case of Coke Zero in my fridge. And that would...
you would replenish. You weren't like saving it for a special occasion.
No, that would replenish usually probably like every maybe like 3 days.
Yeah, that's a lot, Tom.
Yeah, so like all I would drink would be coffee, Coca-Cola Zero, and then water sometimes if like my...
And
alcohol. Yeah.
All right. You and I, I've drank probably 1,000 gallons of whiskey with you.
Well, I'm saying like at home, I would if I was thirsty. Well, no, if I was like in the morning, I would drink coffee. But if I was
and some whiskey.
No, I wouldn't drink whiskey in the morning. No, I mean it's not a bad idea.
You know what? You ever think about that? Like,
being a functioning alcoholic wouldn't be that bad,
or maybe non-functional, but like, I don't know. It's just so weird. I think
that there's such a stigma.
No, not that there's a stigma. That's like, there's something. You're walking out the door to let's say you're employed in an office, right? Mm-hmm. Walking out the door in the morning, and like you have a bottle of whiskey in your home, but if you just took a shot of whiskey, people would be mad at you when you showed up at work.
Yeah.
But like, if I was coming here and I took a shot of whiskey, I guess what I'm saying is context really matters, huh?
Well, yeah, you're finally learning that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would argue that the handful of times that I've been on like vacation or something and been like, I'm gonna like have a beer in the morning or something. I've never felt great about it.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
No, and there I think that's the reason why you have to drink alcohol at night, because there has to be an end to it.
Yeah.
Well, there of course has to be an end to it, but the end to it is going to sleep. Like you can't drink and then sober up. You don't feel good.
Right. And I think the whole thing of drinking a beer in the morning on vacation, where it's like, I'm throwing the rules out the window. But like more and more,
it's more
I'm
of
realizing,
a symbolic thing than
but throwing the rules out the window. Friday nights now, I'm just like, look, I've been good all week. I've been eating like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to eat a ton of shit because the rules are out the window. I don't have anything to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like, I immediately regret it.
Yeah, because the rules are self-imposed for your own benefit.
First bite into that stuffed crust of the pizza, and I'm thinking, this was a mistake, but I ordered an entire large stuffed crust for me.
And it'll go bad otherwise.
Yeah, I don't want it to go bad. Wasting food is a sin, Tom. And I don't want to go to hell.
Well, yeah.
Look, I'll be damned if I go to hell. Just kidding.
Not wasting food that's not gonna be salvation for you, Tim.
It couldn't hurt.
So yeah, I used to have Coke Zero in my fridge all the time. And then at some point I realized, actually, it was kind of like a New Year's resolution, I guess. I was like, this probably can't be great, drinking Coke Zero like 1 o'clock in the morning, just because I'm like, I'm thirsty. I'm going to have a Coke. So I stopped, and literally just cutting Coke Zero out of my diet, I lost 30 pounds within like a month.
Jesus Christ, but that has zero sugar, Tom.
I know, but and they say it's bad for you because then it makes you hungry for other stuff. So like you're getting your metabolism's like, great, sugar. And then when it doesn't get sugar,
it doesn't go into your reserves?
No, it goes, you idiot, that wasn't sugar. You fooled us. Now go eat real sugar. Go or carbohydrates or something. Because now we really want it. We didn't want it, but then you teased us with it. Now we want it. But I don't think
just a big tease.
I don't think that.
Did you ever wait a really long time to really tease your?
No, I would
metabolism?
immediately eat whatever I wanted. But I don't think that was even it. I don't know what the hell it was, but not having soda. And it wasn't that I even cut it out of my life. It was just, I'm not going to have it at my home anymore.
Yeah.
That alone, like dramatically changed my health.
Do you drink it, like if you and I were going to go to all right, a movie, you would get a soda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like if I'm at a restaurant or something, I'm always getting a soda or a beer.
What if we were out on the town,
mm-hmm.
you and I were going to walk, I don't know, we're going to be, what do people do?
Rob a bank.
Rob a bank. On the way to the bank, if you're thirsty, would you pick up a Coke Zero and drink it walking down the street?
Usually not. Usually if I'm buying something from a store, like a bodega or a deli, I'm going to look for something more exotic, something I haven't tried before.
Something with one of those drinks that has the floating gelatinous balls in it.
They don't make that anymore.
What
Orbits.
was that? Orbits.
Yeah, they don't make that anymore.
I feel like they made that for 3 months.
Maybe. If they had it, I would try it. But yeah, usually I'll get some weird shit. And
Zima?
You can't drink a Zima walking down the street.
Who? The
alcohol.
cops aren't. They don't know that.
Oh, the cops are
the
wise.
The cops aren't hip to
no,
Zima
the cops
yet.
know
No.
Zima's not soda.
No. They're behind.
However, if
us kids know that Zima is alcoholic, but the cops they're just like, oh, what is this new?
You know what I saw the other day, which made a lot of sense, and I was kind of surprised at myself that I didn't realize this before. You know, I don't know how many cities have this kind of thing, but you know, in the city, like I work around Union Square, that there's people like selling water and Gatorade for $1 or whatever. You can just, out of a cooler. They have wine coolers in there too that they'll sell you, and presumably beer. But maybe not beer, but they do have wine coolers. Like I saw a discreet transaction happening where somebody was buying a wine. It was in the morning where somebody was buying a wine cooler, and that suddenly made that whole business change my opinion of it. Okay, now I get it. This is kind of a front.
Yeah, did you happen to see how much he was charging for that wine cooler?
No, but I mean they charge very reasonable prices for the soda, for the waters and Gatorade. So I'd assume they're charging pretty reasonable prices for the wine coolers.
Well, let me know exactly where that is, and on my way to work one day, maybe I'll pop by.
I also feel like I'm going to go up to one of those guys one day and be like, hey, you got any wine coolers? And they're going to be like, what? No, of course I don't have wine coolers.
No, they're going to be like, on the ground. This was a sting operation. And they're going to handcuff you.
I was just trying to have a morning wine cooler.
Yeah.
So, I will buy soda on the street if it's a new soda I haven't seen before. Or if it's a soda I don't see often.
The Venn diagram of Tom Reynolds' interest being piqued. Soda.
Yeah.
And some new
gimmick.
marketing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. And if you can get this will happen in our lifetime. Buffalo flavoring.
Ooh, yeah, I'd definitely try it.
You'd swig down a cool 2-liter bottle of Buffalo flavored Coca-Cola, Coke Zero.
I would try it. Sure, why not?
Buffalo raspberry or something. You'd be like, oh, you know what? It kind of goes together. The carbonation ties it together.
I did get recently, not recently, but like within the last year, a hot cinnamon Pepsi. It tasted like shit. I hated it. It tasted like battery acid. I didn't like it at all. I don't want spicy drinks. No. I'll try the Buffalo stuff, but
even like a jalapeno margarita. Like, this is not what I want from a drink.
Yeah. Give me spicy food and a cool drink.
Yeah, the drink's supposed to cool you down, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Anyway, Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. The thinking man's soft drink.
There's an old advertisement that called it an intellectual drink.
Really?
Yeah.
This is not the way it played out over the next century.
Look, Coca-Cola is...
How old is Coca-Cola?
133 years old today.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why we're doing the episode, Tim.
Happy birthday.
Well, didn't you notice all the decorations I put up?
You know what? You usually have Coca-Cola decorated. I noticed slightly more.
Yeah. Well, and all the birthday streamers and the happy 133rd birthday.
Yeah, I thought that was maybe your...
The man in the Coca-Cola bottle costume who's sitting in the corner.
Yeah. Is that a real man in there?
Yeah, of course it's real. Okay, I'll ruin the illusion. It's not a real bottle of Coca-Cola. It's a man in a suit, but he is the stand-in.
I wasn't sure if it was some sort of mannequin that you...
No, I found the oldest man I could. The man...
133.
He's not 133, but he is 104.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to... Don't make me shake his hand before I go, Tom. It'll feel like paper.
No,
feel all crinkly.
You know what? Actually, that's one of the... You can't shake his hand. It'll just kind of...
Oh, the skin will just...
The skin and the bones are very brittle. But his grandson saw the ad I put up on Craigslist. His grandson's 53. But his grandson saw the ad.
Sick world when you got a 53-year-old grandson.
It is a sick world. Luckily, he can't hear shit inside that Coca-Cola.
Yeah, no, I mean, I accidentally knocked into him before, which is why I thought it might not be a real person in there, because it didn't really seem to stir.
Well, hopefully, he's still breathing in there. He is a very old man.
You made that bottle suit yourself?
Yeah, it's all glass.
Yeah, it's...
I made it have a bunch of aquariums that I found on the street.
Will you ever have an aquarium, Tom?
I aspire to.
I told my wife this the other day. I hope we never have a fish tank.
I told my wife, we get an aquarium, I'm going to divorce court the next day.
You know what? I didn't lay it down like that, but the implication was clear.
Right, read between the lines.
Yeah.
Why did it come up?
No, I think I saw an aquarium somewhere on TV, and I was just like,
we got a flyer
like
for saltwater aquariums addressed to her.
You know, and she said, like, well, what if we had a kid one day and they wanted a fish tank, like a small. That's fine in a kid's room.
Yeah,
whatever.
like a little goldfish or something.
But these people that have the aquariums, gallons and gallons of water and dozens of fish in there. What's the end game?
Fish eat fish. You get to watch them eat each other.
I don't want to watch fish eat other fish.
I would only like an aquarium if I had like a very big house.
Yeah, and then you have an aquarium room.
Yeah, all aquarium
the
on
walls
all sides, the ceiling, the floor.
Or if I had a house and all the walls were made out of aquarium.
Yeah. Or
that I could deal with.
A glass house.
Because then also you would have a guy, presumably, to deal with them.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be like some chump.
Yeah.
Sprinkling fish food into the aquarium.
Yeah, but then
I hope you enjoy your food. But fish, it's stinking up my whole house.
Then you gotta worry about that guy. Like, he seems like he's chatting up my wife a lot. The aquarium
whatever.
guy.
Look,
I know
it's the
it
price I
like...
pay for having aquarium walls.
Anyway, Coca-Cola.
Also, a friend of mine had a turtle.
Yeah,
turtle.
Mm-hmm.
He had to feed that thing krill. Stunk up his whole room.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Coca-Cola. Tim, do you know how Coca-Cola came to be?
Somebody was walking down the street with water, and somebody was walking down the street with carbonated sugar, and they bumped into each other, and somebody said, "You got carbonation and sugar in my water."
You can't carbonate sugar.
I don't know. I'm not a soda enthusiast.
It was a Confederate colonel that came up with it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so maybe Coca-Cola should be canceled.
Coca-Cola, from here on out, is canceled. Thank you. Good night.
Coca-Cola Confederate colonel. So sorry for the slip of the tongue. I was thinking of the Cola Wars. Confederate Colonel John Pemberton, who was wounded in the American Civil War, became addicted to morphine.
You know what? That happened a lot.
Well, yeah, because morphine's a very addictive drug.
No, after the Civil War.
Yeah.
Everybody who fought in the Civil War wound up essentially addicted to morphine.
Well, yeah, because they got like grisly wounds that were like just shy of killing people, except for the wounds that did kill people. But like a lot of like lost limbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was nothing they could really do.
Doctors just kind of went house to house, leaving them needles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, inject this whenever you need it.
Yeah.
And then, you know what happened?
You can't overdo it, so.
A lot of the women who did not fight, but dealt with so much tragedy, the husbands, brothers, fathers,
brother versus
sons
brother
dying. They got into the morphine because they were like, well, this numbs my my emotional pain. Yeah. It was a big thing, Tom.
Good all-around drug.
No, bad.
What? It works for physical and emotional pain.
No, it's bad, and it's bad news. Everybody stay away from all of it.
So he was looking for a something that was less problematic than morphine.
A Confederate general doesn't want to be problematic all of a sudden.
So he came up with this thing and he registered it. He had a drug store or a drug house. Pemberton's Eagle Drug and Chemical House, a drug store. What if I told you like I had to go pick up a prescription at the drug and chemical house?
I mean, call it what it is, right?
Yeah. It was in Georgia. It was called Pemberton's French Wine Coca Nerve Tonic. It may have been inspired by the formidable success of Vin Mariani, a French Corsican Coca wine. But his recipe...
Are you reciting this off the top of your head, Tom?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how it's pronounced. But his recipe included the African kola nut, which is where the caffeine came from.
Kola.
Yes. And it's worth noting, according to Wikipedia, that there's a Spanish drink called Coca-Cola or Cola Coca. Huh. That was presented at a contest.
Bizarro World Coca-Cola.
Presented at a contest in Philadelphia in 1885, a year before the official birth of Coca-Cola. But the rights for the Spanish drink were bought by Coca-Cola in 1953. So everything's settled. Everything's fine now. This is back in the
after the fact. After that Confederate screwed over the Spanish guy.
I'm not sure if there's like
evidence. Don't worry.
Evidence that he was
90 years later they made it right.
I'm not sure if there was evidence that he was there in Philadelphia.
Yeah, stay out of Philly, Confederate.
Well, yeah, probably. You probably wouldn't have been able to catch him dead up there.
Can't believe you still drink this knowing
that. Whatever happened to nerve tonics? I feel like we don't get as many nerve tonics as there used to be.
Whoa. Nerve tonic was the implication. It did something for the health of
your nerves.
The nerve endings or your disposition. I
think your disposition, because it back then
settled your anxieties.
Yeah, back then any mental illnesses were just like nerve problems,
right? And
then there were nerve tonics to fix your nerve problems. And I don't know what I think a lot of them were just heroin or morphine derived things, but I bet I bet especially nowadays if you came out with like a CBD infused drink and called it nerve tonic,
put it in an old timey
glass.
How about Tim and Tom's
old timey nerve tonic?
Yeah, we can.
Confederate nerve tonic.
Yes, there you go. And we're really seizing on a moment too.
Right, it's in the news.
Yeah, it's really in the zeitgeist.
You get a lot of free press.
We'll put us in handlebar mustaches and like mutton chops on the bottle. It'll be one of those.
Stuff sells itself. I'll tell you what. If I walked into a bodega and I saw that, I would buy it.
You'd try it. It's
Absolutely,
gimmicky enough.
Yeah.
And then it just in parentheses put soda under it, and then everybody like you would be like, "Wow, gimmicky and soda."
I wouldn't even eat the soda thing, and we could make it like taste like shit, and then people will think it's like actually really good for you.
Man, okay, I can throw out my depression meds because I have this nerve tonic.
Yeah, I just go to the bodega and buy a bottle of nerve tonic every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
So he started it. He called it nerve tonic.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then he eventually he got rid of the during Prohibition. They had to. He was like, ew, this wine nerve tonic isn't going to go over so well with the new Prohibition. So they got rid of the wine.
Was there cocaine in it, Tom?
Yeah, there was cocaine in it, of course. Well, actually, they say Coca-Cola denies the usage of cocaine. But Pemberton called for 5 ounces of coca leaf per gallon of syrup, a significant dose. But then somebody else claimed in 1891 that it actually only contained a tenth of that amount. But Coca-Cola once estimated that there were 9 milligrams of cocaine per glass. And for comparison's sake, a typical dose or line of cocaine was 50 to 75 milligrams.
Wait, so how much was in it?
9. So about a fifth of a line of cocaine was in
a single serving?
A single serving of Coca-Cola.
I mean, still.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like not a trace amount.
And you drink 5 Coca-Colas a day, or you did it at your lowest point.
Yeah, so that was the equivalent of the Coca-Cola I drink nowadays does not have cocaine. No. I would like to try Coca-Cola with some cocaine in it. I've never tried cocaine. I have no interest in trying cocaine. Don't do drugs, kids. But I would be interested in trying Coca-Cola with cocaine.
Yeah.
Just to see what it tastes like.
I mean, you can
God,
to see what it tastes like, Tom.
Yeah, see what it feels like is more. Yeah, it'd probably feel great.
Would you?
Coca-Cola already makes me feel so good when I drink it. If it had a little bit of cocaine, boy, I'd be a Titan of Wall Street.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be real arrogant.
Oh, absolutely. But it is a weird thing. I was looking up, I don't know why, but I was looking up like how cocaine works the other day. Not how it works, how they get cocaine out of coca leaves, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Well, I guess I'm talking about it now. But it struck me as, because you can like take a coca leaf, they're small, and you can just chew that. And that's what they do in like the places where it grows naturally in like Colombia and stuff.
But it's not in its purest
no.
form. Right?
And when you just chew a leaf of it, it's the equivalent of a coffee in how it makes you feel, because and then I looked up like how they get cocaine out of it. And it's a very like long process where they introduce like a bunch of like gasoline and stuff to get
gasoline.
Yeah, gasoline.
Okay.
To get the
you don't have to yell at me.
the pure. Well, you gave me a look like
I
gasoline,
did give you a look. Yeah.
To get the pure cocaine out that then you can stick up your nose and feel great. And it struck me as a very unfortunate thing, because I think if people hadn't figured that stuff out,
everybody's always pouring gasoline on something to make it more potent and
well,
ruining.
they just went too far. Because same thing, you can, if you have some pure caffeine, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
There have been not a lot, but a decent amount of cases, because caffeine can be used as like a bodybuilding drug or whatever. So like you mix in caffeine with, a bunch of other substances, and that helps you work out, or like whatchamacallit, like a nootropic, like brain thing.
Yeah. Same thing with like nicotine, right?
Yeah,
if you have like a pin's head of
a drop of
nicotine
pure nicotine will kill you.
Yeah.
And there have been cases where people have, screwed up their packaging or whatever, and put, a scoop of caffeine into what they're drinking, and it kills them.
Yikes.
So it just kind of strikes me that cocaine is a very similar thing, where I guess like maybe cocaine's out of like caffeine and nicotine actually maybe the safest thing where you can actually do like that same amount of cocaine. If you had that in nicotine or caffeine, it would kill you like on the spot.
Right.
But you
just chew the leaves, everybody.
But that's what's so weird, that it was almost because you could turn this into something that you can, I guess not safely have, but that you can enjoyably have a lot of it. Like you can't enjoyably have a lot of caffeine or a lot of nicotine, I think.
Right.
Yeah. It would have been nice if they had cocaine leaves.
Hey, tell that to
Coca leaves.
Jim Jarmusch and the cast of Coffee and Cigarettes, right?
Tell them what?
That they can't enjoyably have a whole bunch of caffeine and nicotine. It's all they have all the time. You ever see that movie?
Yeah, I mean,
smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee the whole time.
They were just playing characters.
I don't know. Tom Waits' name was Tom Waits in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was just some study about cigarettes and coffee, and that they found something where it is very synergistic.
Well, you know who could have told you that, Tom?
Jim Jarmusch.
And the cast of Coffee and Cigarettes.
I should have asked them. So here's an interesting thing about the cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Was the headline, Scientists Vindicate Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. He's no longer a laughing stock.
It was a press release to give him the Nobel Prize for science.
I mean, that's taking it too far.
Well, that's what I thought.
He just made a movie, Tom.
Yeah, it's like he didn't, you should give the Nobel Prize to the guys who actually did the testing and everything.
Yeah. Well, that was big of you to tell them that. Did they reverse course?
I said it to the newspaper.
Oh, well, they don't really have much pull.
The newspaper? No, I said it to the newspaper I was reading. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't even write a letter to the editor?
You can do that?
Yeah, they don't read them though. In my experience, they return them with a letter asking you not to write in.
Oh, I thought maybe they would take those letters pulp them, turn them into newspapers, and that's how they save money. And they're like, we'll print some real inflammatory stuff, then we'll use all the letters to print the.
Yeah, we're out of paper. Where are we gonna get all this paper? Oh, let's.
we'll use these to print tomorrow's paper. This is super. This has been a thing that has fascinated me forever. In the United States, the Stepan Company is the only manufacturing plant authorized by the federal government to import and process the coca plant, which it obtains mainly from Peru and to a lesser extent Bolivia. They're right in New Jersey.
Peru? No, it's in South America.
Besides producing the coca flavoring agent for Coca-Cola, the Stepan Company extracts cocaine from the coca leaves, which it sells to Mallinckrodt, a St. Louis, Missouri pharmaceutical manufacturer that is the only company in the United States licensed to purify cocaine for medical use. For medical use.
What medical use?
I don't know. And that was the first I had heard that there was a medical use for cocaine. Maybe, I don't know. Somebody's not having fun at a party?
Tom, I know nothing about cocaine.
Somebody's afraid to dance? Do you give them that?
Is that what happens?
What? People are afraid to dance
no,
if they have cocaine?
people, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I know Urkel one time was at a party on the roof and alcohol made him not afraid to dance.
Oh. Yeah, alcohol works too.
He did the Urkel.
Was that the first time he did the Urkel?
Oh, yeah, Tom.
So, well, that just kind of tarnishes the legacy that the first time he did the Urkel, he was drunk.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, now I can't enjoy the Urkel as much if it was just a result of some drunken hijinks. But yeah, there's this company in freaking...
All the best dances are a result of drunken hijinks. The Hustle.
Where did that come from?
Drunken hijinks at a wedding.
Oh, all right. You know that for a fact?
Yeah, I assume.
It didn't come from the song?
The song came from it. They improvised it at the wedding.
Oh, okay. Huh, interesting.
They were wasted.
But isn't that crazy that like there's a place in New Jersey where they're taking these leaves, making cocaine?
Seems a little shady that the government's like, you two companies.
No, not two. Oh, yeah. You get the cocaine, then you sell it to these guys for medical use.
Yeah.
You think
nobody could see your air quotes. Yeah.
You think that's the cocaine that they're doing at the Pentagon?
They're doing cocaine at the Pentagon?
To get through.
Is this more of your deep state conspiracy?
No, but that cocaine, that's probably the...
No, but you got to hear what Q said today.
That cocaine's probably the best cocaine on earth.
What?
The cocaine that Coca-Cola's making, or that the company, because that's like the only like pure cocaine, unless you're making it yourself.
How do you know?
Because like otherwise you don't know where otherwise
you're gonna trust big business that's the purest.
Tim, otherwise it might be stepped on. You know what that means?
Yeah, I know what that means.
It means it's spilled at the factory and somebody stepped on it.
No, that's not what it means.
What?
Tom.
What? Yeah, what? Why would it not mean that?
You would think it's what it...
Yeah.
Look, Tom, I just read a whole drugs book, and I know all the terminology.
Okay.
Stepped on.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean it's like cut with other stuff?
Yeah.
Doing the Urkel.
That's not a drugs thing.
Yeah, it is. Alcohol's a drug, Tom.
Oh, okay. People call drinking doing the Urkel?
No, drinking and then doing the Urkel.
Oh, drinking and then doing the Urkel. Okay.
Yeah. That's all this book told me. It wasn't a very thorough book.
Do you want to plug this book? What is the book called?
Yeah, I got it at the book fair. It was Family Matters, Steve's Close Call. Now, Tom, I don't drink that much Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I don't drink that much soda. You want to know why? Because I'm a great man.
What?
Yes, some will say I'm a coward. I never liked soda growing up because the carbonation was too much for me.
Well, yeah, then that just makes you a out-and-out coward.
I'm not a coward. It was on. You remember when we said we didn't like spicy drinks before? I didn't like bubbly drinks. We're not cowards.
Do you remember when we agreed that we don't like spicy drinks?
We had a pact, Tom. You're one of us, man. I don't know. It always seemed like a chore to drink soda. I never really enjoyed it, but I do enjoy occasionally when I'm out and I don't feel like drinking alcohol, an ice cold
beer,
name brand soda.
Okay. Not RC Cola. Well, RC Cola is a name brand.
Yeah, but come on, man.
And you're like, hey, this isn't some house soda you have here, right? This is one of the ones I've heard of.
I mean, I guess now, if a restaurant was like, we make our own soda,
oh,
I'd be like, I'll try that. Okay, I'll bite. But back in the day, like, I didn't see commercials for this.
Right.
I didn't come here to drink your friggin'
ShopRite brand cola.
Yeah. Anyway. Oftentimes, when I'll go out in Brooklyn and or Queens, the cool borough, the new cool borough.
Well, it's where you actually live now.
Yeah. A lot of places will offer the Mexican Coke.
Yeah, see.
Very popular with a certain contingent of people who turn their nose up at Coca-Cola.
Right.
Will be like, oh, you have Mexican Coke?
Yeah.
I'll try that. I'll definitely have that. I'll have the Mexican Coke, yeah. Tom, is there a difference in taste between Coca-Cola in the manufactured within the United States and that manufactured in Mexico?
There is, in that Coca-Cola manufactured in Mexico uses real sugar and
sugar cane.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola manufactured in the United States, for the most part, uses corn syrup.
What do you mean for the most part?
I believe there might be some bottlers that use sugar cane.
This is the thing I don't understand. So Coca-Cola...
Yeah, we didn't even talk about bottlers.
Yeah, you're not even getting a consistent product, no matter depending on where you are?
No, I mean, that's kind of the weird thing about Coca-Cola is that Coca-Cola's business is very interesting, because basically their business is spending a crazy amount of money on marketing and advertising.
Right.
And then selling barrels of syrup to distributors. And then those distributors...
Other Confederates?
Other Confederates, those distributors are their franchises, basically, and then they take the syrup, and that's how they don't know how to make it, because they're not the ingredients, the secret ingredients. Is it really
secret?
Yeah, I mean, technically yes.
What does that mean, technically yes?
Because there are a bunch of recipes floating around out there that people have found, that when people make the recipes, they're like, oh yeah, this tastes like Coca-Cola, this is the recipe. I think at this point the recipe is probably so chemically that you couldn't recreate it.
But doesn't like the FDA have to know what's in there? Don't I have a right to know what I'm putting in my body?
It all falls under natural flavorings. That is how they get away with it. Yeah. So they just put on the ingredients list natural flavorings, and that's what this. So it'll say
what are we gonna do about
carbonated water, sugar cane, or corn syrup, and then natural flavorings, and maybe some like xylithan gum or.
Is that how the Colonel gets away with it too? The Colonel Sanders with his...
You don't have to put ingredients on a thing you buy from a restaurant.
They don't have to post it online if
it's
maybe
a chain
they do. Restaurant?
But same thing. I mean, those are also natural ingredients, so they can just say natural flavoring.
Even if they're chemicals? I guess chemicals are in nature.
Yeah.
Isn't anything a natural ingredient?
No.
I mean, people, come on, right? Am I crazy here?
I did read a thing recently about the Colonel Sanders.
You didn't like my new character?
No. I was trying to just gloss over it and keep it moving.
I feel like the world has gone crazy, and I'm the one sane man.
I mean, this isn't a new character. This is like a character from a 70s movie.
Yeah, but...
new to you.
Well, new to our audience.
Well, some of them might know this character from a 70s movie.
Our audience was alive in the 70s, Tom?
Some of them were, and then right
Most
now,
people who were alive
right
in the
now they're
70s
turning
are dead.
this. Right now they're turning this off because they're offended.
Well, did I offend you? Are you offended?
Anyway, no, I read this thing recently about Colonel Sanders.
People getting offended by characters
Jesus,
from the
shut
70s.
the hell up.
What is going on here? I feel like I'm going crazy.
So now the character's become very meta. He's talking about himself.
Yeah, that's the 21st century spin on it,
Yeah,
Tom.
he's
You didn't
the-
let me get to the real
It's
real
like
meat
a
and potatoes.
it's like
yeah.
a Deadpool-esque. He breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, this character knows he's on a podcast.
No, I read this thing recently about Colonel Sanders, KFC in particular, where some reporter found like a long lost relative of the Colonel, and found a recipe in a random scrapbook, and they were like, "This recipe looks like this is an 11 ingredient recipe, and these are 11 herbs and spices." So they
Also, all herbs taste the same.
it's not true.
It's true.
So they
Wake
made
up, sheeple.
you know what kind of the secret thing with Colonel Sanders' original recipe is?
What? You're gonna say something like piss and just like gross us all out.
No, white pepper.
Oh. Okay.
That's
I feel like I've heard that before.
that's like the uncommon ingredient in there that people say,
Oh, I actually
yeah.
use it a lot. It's I use it a lot in my cooking.
Oh, you use black pepper? No, I use white pepper.
I
It's
use
harder
white
to
pepper
find.
and drink Mexican Coke.
So this reporter took this back to, I don't know, the newsroom's test kitchen or whatever, and had them put everything together.
The newsroom's test kitchen?
Yeah.
All right.
And they were like, "Oh,"
What do you think a newsroom's like?
they were like, "This tastes really, really similar, but it's a little bit off." But they went to KFC with the recipe, and they were like, "Hey, we found this recipe and we made this, and it tastes pretty close. Is this the recipe?" And they got back a very like cheeky. A lot of people over the years have tried to replicate the recipe, and all of them have failed. Blah 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 blah. And the recipe is a secret, and it'll always be a secret. And then they went back to the test kitchen people, and one of the like chefs or whatever, one of the newsroom chefs, was like, "Oh, I think I know what's missing." And they put a little MSG in it, and they were like, after that, it was freaking identical. It was exactly the same. And then they contacted KFC again and said, "Hey, does this have MSG? Is that the thing we were missing?" And they were back like, "Due to FDA regulations, we do have to disclose that it does contain MSG." if you ask. So they got it. Got it.
Well, you
got
know
'em.
what? Also, who gives a shit? Like, oh man, this.
Well, think of all the money you can save not going to KFC anymore.
Yeah, I guess I would save a lot of money if I could just fry chicken at home with the precise blend of
Herbs and
spices. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, it just tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You ever have just regular fried chicken and you're just like, ugh,
Ugh.
what is this?
Shit.
Is this chicken or am I eating shit?
So yeah, I forget what got us on.
Oh, you were talking about the bottlers.
Yeah. So the bottlers. So the bottlers are actually given a little bit of leeway as to how they make it, so that they can make it more to the area's taste. So in some places it is sweeter, in some places it's less sweet. That's usually like people.
Do they like add sugar?
Yeah. They're kind of given, because
Wait, so the syrup that they get from the Coca-Cola Corporation in Atlanta, does it all come out of Atlanta?
I think maybe.
They ship them from Atlanta to Peoria or wherever the bottling plant is, and that doesn't have sugar in it. They're just like, hey, add some.
I think
either corn syrup or cane sugar or whatever you're gonna do. Make it sweet,
Right.
But poll the townsfolk here and let them know. Like,
No, don't
let
poll
them tell you
them.
how sweet they want it.
Don't pull them. Just mess around with it till you get right.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because sugar has to be, aside from water, the number one ingredient in Coca-Cola. So that saves on shipping costs. You know, add local sugar or corn syrup, wherever the hell you want.
we don't give a shit what you feed people, man.
Yeah. But that's how they save.
You know what? Encourage them to give it to their babies too.
That's how they save a lot of money, because they're just shipping you a tiny concentrated barrel that you can then make, God knows how many barrels of Coke. And they say, add your own sugar, add your own carbonated water. There you go.
Have you ever gotten curious?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have gotten
curious. Tried to get your hands on a barrel or any of that syrup, the concentrated syrup?
I had an opportunity once, but it was in high school. A friend that worked at a McDonald's, he stole like a concentrated.
Well, that's different because that already has the sugar in it, presumably.
Oh,
because McDonald's isn't adding the
right,
sugar.
But and he stole root beer, and it was like, who gives a shit? Who wants?
What do you mean?
Beer?
Root beer is better than Coca-Cola.
Dude, you're out of your fucking mind.
What do you mean?
You're out of your mind. Root beer is not better than Coca-Cola.
Oh, root beer has a
root beer is good.
Has a tang to it.
Root beer is good. I'm not, I will not turn down a root beer unless there's a cola available. But I think he wound up just making like a huge mess because there wasn't like a way to the way
his hands are still sticky from
because the syrup came out of like a special connector that was only intended for this machine at McDonald's, and I think he tried to open it, on his own, and it just made a huge mess.
That leads me to my second question, Tom.
Great.
And you're saying that the whole Mexican Coke thing is a hoax, right?
I'm not saying it's a hoax. Actually, I think probably more likely is that the level of sugar is different, and that's what people are tasting the difference in. I've had Mexican Cokes, and they are good. Like, I will usually not pay the premium for one. I don't think it's
that
usually
extra
worth
50 cents really is gonna
No,
break
it's
you.
Usually not 50 cents. It's usually like a few dollars more.
That's insane. No, it's not.
It's
usually triple the price of the normal Coke.
That caused a lot of problems with Coca-Cola and Costco. Because Costco started stocking Mexican Coke, and the Coca-Cola distributors in America were like, whoa, like, we have an exclusive distribution arrangement for this area.
But it's a different product. Was that their argument?
I think so. That they were like, it's an imported product or whatever.
You sure have changed your tune on Mexican Coke since the last time we were drunk at a bar screaming at each other. Until we were red in the face about it.
Why? What was I saying? That it was better?
No, I was saying it was better, and you were calling me a buffoon in front of my wife and all of our friends.
Yeah.
For buying into such ridiculous hype.
Well, look, Tim, I'm being civil on the podcast. As soon as the recording's over, I'm gonna lay into you.
Yeah. What else is new, Tom? As soon as we hit stop. Man, the insults start flying and they don't stop.
That's when the real Tom comes out.
It brings me to my second thing, Tom. Does Coca-Cola?
Mm-hmm.
This is a claim my mother makes that I dispute.
A letter that my mother sent into the podcast.
Another claim my mother makes that I dispute is that her friend coined the phrase, "Where's the beef?"
What?
But that's for a different episode. For this episode, she claims Coke tastes better from McDonald's than anywhere else.
I wouldn't dispute that. Coke from McDonald's does taste very good. I think that they actually do have their own, like, all, at least in the U.S., I believe maybe all McDonald's Coke comes from McDonald's. Like, McDonald's is getting they're buying it directly from Coca-Cola, and they have their own formulation.
Can I tell you what they claim are the differentiators here?
Sure. I will add to that I also think Coca-Cola from Chipotle is better than regular Coca-Cola.
Do you think they still get the Coca-Cola from the same place from when they were owned by, or in business with McDonald's? Do you think they got hooked up maybe with the distributors there?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I imagine it's not McDonald's itself, the entity.
Right. There's some third-party company, but they exclusively deal with McDonald's. Where I went to college, we had what I was told was the only McDonald's in the country that served Pepsi.
Wow, Tom. Did you burn it to the ground?
I was like, what is this, blasphemy?
They claim there are 4 factors that make the Coke at McDonald's taste better.
Who claims this? Your mom still?
No, McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
That stainless steel is one of them. That the syrup comes in stainless steel tanks. Everybody else gets theirs in plastic bags.
Yeah, I could see that maybe the plastic leaches into the Coke.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It seems a little. I mean, that reason I carry a stainless steel water bottle instead of a plastic water
I like
bottle.
drinking stuff out of stainless steel. It feels colder.
Yeah. I like when you go to a restaurant and they have like a steel cup that you're drinking your water out of.
The hell restaurants you go to where they have steel cups?
This Himalayan restaurant near me. It's really good, Tom. Temperature control.
But it's a real hike to get there.
Temperature control. There's more to... I guess not. Temperature control. They pay close attention to the temperature of the soda. They keep it colder than other places. The actual system.
Right. They don't just rely on the ice to do all the heavy lifting.
Right. And the water and the syrup are pre-chilled.
Nice.
And they also have an insulated tube that they claim that others don't have.
Keeps everything cold.
And that whatever. Filtered water. They claim they filter the water as it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And that the straws at McDonald's, which, by the way, McDonald's is canceled for using straws. The straws at McDonald's are wider.
Yeah, they are wider.
And
when you're
and they claim that ensures that the Coke hits, quote, all of your taste buds as it enters your mouth.
You know what? I buy that. Because that wider straw allows because you're forgetting that you're dealing with bubbles here.
Yeah, no, Tom, you think that I forget that you deal with bubbles and soda? That's why I can't drink soda.
I feel like when I drink out of a McDonald's straw, I'm getting more liquid in my mouth. I'm getting more in the back of my mouth than a normal straw.
Right.
I buy that. I think that is true. I'm going to start, next time I go to McDonald's, I'm going to take 500 straws from there. And I'll have to go with one of those McDonald's that doesn't have that little button where you get one straw at a time.
Why not? Just hit that button a bunch.
And then somebody will come over and be like, sir, we already told you you're not allowed in here.
Oh, they already told you that.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? Now you're taking all the straws.
I'd expect you to get banned from the Pepsi McDonald's because just screaming out there or standing out front with a sandwich board. Just repent. Ringing a bell.
No, I buy all that about McDonald's. Those all sound reasonable. I mean, the colder a Coca-Cola, the better, unless it's frozen.
Yeah. What do you think of the Coca-Cola
Slurpees? Never liked them.
Yeah, it was fine, I guess.
It didn't taste like Coke. It tasted like flat Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you know what my problem with the Slurpees always were?
What?
Too cold.
Exactly. That's too cold. Come on. There's a nice medium ground between room temperature and a Slurpee.
Yeah.
And that's all we're asking for.
Where we enjoy all of our beverages, except for the hot ones, Tom. I like a hot coffee, and I make no apologies for that.
I like both types of coffee. Whenever I drink a Chipotle cola, I don't drink it out of a straw. They've got nice ice at Chipotle.
Nice ice.
Nice ice, I said. Tim, I want to talk to you about a dark portion of Coca-Cola's history.
The union busting.
No, not the union busting.
The water rights.
No. About New Coke.
Well, that sounds positively delightful, Tom. A new Coke, huh?
Well, that's what
sounds exciting.
That's what spokesman Bill Cosby would have led you to believe.
Oh, Dr. Cosby to you, Tom.
Yeah.
Hey, anything that he vouches for, I can get behind.
So, Basically, Coca-Cola realized that the Diet Coke was starting to get very popular, and that people really liked the taste of Diet Coke, which was a little bit of a milder taste. So they realized, hey, we should move this over to regular Coke, which is such a dumb idea because it's like, well, if people like this taste, they aren't saying to themselves, the only thing I wish was that it had a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, I understand them being like, we want our flagship to be the most beloved, though. Right? The most beloved flavor. And, like, come on. You drink the Diet or Coke Zero or Zero Sugar. You know it's not any healthier, right?
Yes,
were people
and
in
no.
the 80s buying that? Where it's
yeah. I'm sure people in the 80s are buying it.
Yeah, and I'll go to Jazzercise after this and then do some flash dancing tonight.
So they were originally going to have it as its own thing, but then the president of Coke at the time, this guy
Ronald Reagan.
No, Goizueta, he was like, no. We need to be bold here. If we're gonna change it, let's go whole hog. Let's make this the new Coke. So they just called it Coke, but they put labels that said new on it, which is how it came to be called New Coke.
Very clever.
People at first apparently liked New Coke.
Well, that's because they had Dr. Cosby behind it.
Right. Sales were up 8%.
Good for Coke, yeah.
From Coke, but then, Tim, there was the backlash.
People don't like change in their sugary drinks.
People don't like change. Many of the Southern drinkers saw this as saw the way Coca-Cola tasted as a part of their regional identity. And they viewed the company's decision to change the formula through the prism of the Civil War and as another surrender to the Yankees.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So finally, hey, because
not many Southerners, some Southerners.
People who held on to the Confederate kind of mindset.
Yeah.
I bet they were just like, hey, Coca-Cola, that's one of ours.
Right. Yeah. It's a Southern success story.
No, it's literally made by Confederates.
The company headquarters in Atlanta started receiving letters and phone calls expressing anger or deep disappointment. The company received over 40,000 calls or letters, including one letter.
Did somebody organize this? I can't imagine people would be compelled on their own.
No, I mean, it was the 80s. There was nothing to do.
There was so much to do. Tell them water skiing.
Yeah, water skiing was a new thing. But a lot of people can afford a water ski, so they would, blow off some steam by sending an angry letter to Coca-Cola.
That's true.
This is back in the days when, you didn't need to organize shit. They said a curse word on TV, and everybody would call up the TV and be like, oh, I'm mad.
What about Circus of the Stars? They could watch that.
I remember my mom wrote a letter to a video game company because the instruction manual called the bad guys scumbags.
Suddenly, my mom doesn't seem so weird for claiming her friend who coined the phrase, where's the beef?
Well, and for, I only found out about that, years later, but when I was still a kid. And then I still didn't understand because I didn't know that scumbag was a euphemism for a condom. Yeah. The company received over 40,000 calls and letters. This is my favorite thing in this historical document, that they felt the need to point this out, which had to have been put on Wikipedia by the person who did this, including one letter delivered to Goetza that was addressed to Chief Dodo, the Coca-Cola company. Another letter asked for his autograph as the signature of, quote, one of the dumbest executives in American business history would likely become valuable over time.
Who cares that much about soda? That they want to rag. I mean, I guess you can't at them on Twitter and say awful things, so you had to actually write You ever look at Twitter mentions for like corporate stuff?
Yeah.
Because people have like weird jokes like that. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna go down in history as the word. I'd like to frame a picture of your signature or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
who do you think's reading this?
Back before Twitter, you had to send a letter.
Yeah.
They also had a company hotline, 1-800-GET-COKE. They received 1,500 calls a day compared to 400 before the change. A psychiatrist that Coke hired to listen in on calls told executives that...
What a weird thing to do, by the way.
Yeah. Told executives that some people sounded as if they were discussing the death of a family member.
People thinking that the change of the formula for a soda is equivalent to their dead family members. I feel like I'm going crazy here.
Oh, here we go.
What is going on? This is I feel like either I'm going crazy or the whole world is going crazy and I'm the only one who's sane.
New Coke was made fun of by Johnny Carson and David Letterman.
Oh, no. When you've lost Carson, you've lost Middle America. Everybody knows that.
When ads would appear on the scoreboard at the Houston Astrodome, they would get booed.
Who gives a shit? Everybody, calm down.
And then even Fidel Castro, a longtime Coca-Cola drinker, contributed to the backlash, calling New Coke a sign of American capitalist decadence.
I mean, Coca-Cola is...
No,
in general.
Old Coke he was fine with.
Yeah, that was a good communist brand.
Today, Cuba and North Korea are the only two countries in the world that you officially can't get Coke. You have to get gray market Coke. Goetz's father expressed similar misgivings to his son, who later recalled that it was the only time his father had agreed with Fidel Castro, whose rule he had fled Cuba to avoid.
Jesus.
So the CEO's own dad was like, I hate Fidel Castro. We came here to start a new life because of that monster. But he's got a point. the new soda you came up with sucks shit, son.
You know what Fidel Castro has in common with the guy who created Coca-Cola? They both hated America.
That's true. And then a Seattle retiree named Gay Mullins looked to start a PR firm with $120,000 of borrowed money called Old Cola Drinkers of America to lobby Coca-Cola to reintroduce the old formula or sell it to someone else. And he filed a class action lawsuit against Coca-Cola. Which was quickly dismissed by a judge who said he preferred the taste of Pepsi, which that judge should have recused himself then. Yeah, while nevertheless expressing interest in securing the company.
I hate it when judges try to be like cute like that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to weigh in with the pop culture. Shut up. Shut up and judge.
In two informal blind taste tests, Mullins failed to distinguish New Coke from old or express a preference for New Coke. So he did two taste tests where either he couldn't tell the difference or he said he liked New Coke more.
Good use of your money.
Yeah. It was a big, I can't even get into most of it because there's just...
Maybe we'll do a whole episode on New Coke one day.
Yeah. The president...
Since you appear to be learning about this as you're telling me about it, so you scanning your iPad.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola president. So I guess this guy was the CEO. A different guy, David Keel. They all have weird names that I can't pronounce. The Coca-Cola president and chief operating officer reported overhearing someone say at his country club that they liked New Coke, but they would be damned if I'll let Coca-Cola know that.
People have a lot of opinions about a lot of things. I guess I can't talk. We've logged 500 hours of me screaming about things.
Yeah, 79 days after it was, they reversed their they reversed it, and it was announced by ABC News' Peter Jennings interrupting General Hospital with a special bulletin to share the news with viewers.
Jesus Christ! What a dumb country. What a dumb world we live in.
And then there was like a It was talked about.
Your sugar water's back to normal, everybody.
They talked about on
Stand down.
They announced it on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah, this is why we need the right to stockpile weapons.
Yeah, just in case our cola companies turn against us.
Yeah, and slightly change the formula. I feel like I'm going crazy, Tom.
That old man, Gay Mullins, he was given the first case of Coca-Cola Classic.
Why? Because he sued them?
Yeah.
Well, you win.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that's they called it classic.
Yeah.
To make sure that everybody was. Well, they were going to try to keep the new version on the market separately, right?
Yeah.
So you can have the classic version or Coke 2. They called it.
Coke 2 was what they renamed it because some people did like it. So
Coke, for New Coke and Coke 2. Great job, the ad guys.
Yeah.
Marketing department had a meeting to get to. Had a baseball game.
Just call it Coke 2.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Roman numeral too, so it was classy.
Well,
I remember as a kid like seeing that in the store and being like, "What the hell? Soda has sequels?"
Sign me up.
Well, I think I probably was.
Well, I like the first one a lot.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
I think. Well, I mean, also like when you're a kid and like a sequel to a movie comes out, it's always better.
When you're a kid.
When you're a kid,
yeah.
You're just like, they made a sequel and holy shit, the sequel's 10 times better.
Right.
I can't believe it. So I remember like saying like, we should try Coke 2. And my mom being like, no. Like, we're not going to do it.
No, you'll never. I'll be damned if I let you have a sip of that.
Man, well, that's one of my pet peeves with my mom. Whenever I'm home, the only soda she ever has is caffeine-free Diet Coke.
All right, who cares?
They stopped calling it Coca-Cola Classic in 2011.
Oh, okay.
It was, which I didn't really realize. But then once I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I haven't seen it called Coca-Cola Classic anymore.
Surprised you weren't up on that.
Yeah, so it took like, freaking how long? Like 20 years before they were like, all right, everybody knows now that they're not buying new Coke. We can take the classic away. All those people are long dead. The people that knew about new Coke.
Type 2 diabetes that they got from using our product.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can support the show by checking out tcgte.com/Amazon for all of your Coca-Cola merchandise buying needs and anything else you need from Amazon. It gives us a kickback, which we appreciate, and we used to buy Coca-Cola. And you can check out patreon.com/complete guide for our Patreon, where we are doing books to podcasts, and we are about to debut episode 2 of And Then There Were None, which is the book I'm reading and telling Tim about.
Tom insists on calling it by its original name, though.
I do not. And you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter @complete guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @TomReynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
And reddit.com/r/tcgte for our subreddit.
Yeah.
And thanks for leaving us reviews on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, whichever one you want to do it on.
Or
we
wherever
appreciate it.
Yeah. Leave us all the reviews, but positive. 5 stars, all that stuff.
Yeah. Leave a review on Yelp.
Ooh.
Why not?
You can leave a review on our Amazon product of our CBD nerve tonic.
Nerve tonic.
Ooh.
Oh,
we can sell a
nerve tonic and a nerve timic. And you have to use both for it to work right.
That's the gimmick.
Yeah.
They both taste terrible separately.
Right. And if you only drink one of them, it'll drive you mad.
Tom, we didn't get to a lot of things. We didn't get to the polar bears.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that much to say about them. It was neat at the time.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't even think it was that cool.
It was like one of the first like cases of CGI.
Yeah.
Cases.
Should we make this part 1 of a soda trilogy?
So yeah, let's do it. We're gonna do Pepsi next week.
Yeah. And then...
or maybe not next week, but we'll eventually.
Yeah. Look, don't lock us in to 7 days in
advance. Yeah, come on. We're
guys,
free
be
spirits.
Cool. Yeah.
We were going to do Pokemon this week, but then we realized neither of us knew about Pokemon.
Yeah.
I am so excited to see Detective Pikachu.
Well, maybe we'll discuss that one day.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see it this Friday.
But not during Coca-Cola week here on the Complete Guide to Everything.
Yeah.
So take a swig of that sweet brown liquid and try not to burn your tongue with the carbonation. Until next week, I'm Tim, signing off.
That was a HeadGum podcast.